Rome, one of the most important empires in the ancient world, yet it all began with a Trojan refugee and the story of his great 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 grandsons were sent to die as newborns and were adopted by a she-wolf. Sounds weird? That's what we will find out in this video. Hey folks, welcome to the Asgard's History, and today we start a series analyzing and talking about Roman history. At the description there will be a link to the full playlist. Make sure to check that out if you're interested in that subject. Anyway, enough talking, let us proceed to the video. Before I start telling the story, we need to put context into two important parties of the Roman history: the Etruscans and the Latins. Unfortunately, I cannot find the sources. Anyway, if I ever find them, I will link them down below so you can check them out yourselves. Either way, we know that the origin of the Etruscans, it's somewhat of a mystery. Either way, DNA tests and archaeological finds indicate that they have migrated from Minor Asia, which, if true, it does give some credibility to the Trojans' arrival to Italy. We know that the Etruscans were one of the dominating forces in the Italic peninsula, as we will be able to see in most of the Roman rising. They have developed cities and the federal system way before the Latins did. The Latins would rather have a more traditional tribal alliance system, not only politically, but economically as well. The Etruscans were really good craftsmen and amazing in the art of trading. As to the Latins, they were really simple agricultural communities. Archaeological finds from ancient burials suggest that the Latins have migrated from the Balkans into Italy around the prehistorical times. The Latins weren't really interested into craftsmanship and art. As a matter of fact, their culture was based on a big mix of Greek and Etruscan culture. As an example, their pantheon is basically the Greek one with different names. The only thing that they had really unique was their language, which was different from the neighboring communities. So now that we know who these people were, it's time to stop with the humorless analysis and start with the fun part. The Roman history is surrounded with myths and legends. Nonetheless, due to stories told among the Romans and migrational evidence, it's possible to piece together a pattern that would mostly fit the reality. Although not completely accurate, there always might be some truth behind it. Either way, that's actually the fun part on history, not actually knowing what did happen. It all started with the end of the Trojan War with the Greeks, when Aeneas, a Trojan chieftain, managed to escape the Trojan War with a ship and some followers into the Mediterranean in search of a new home. This journey took them to Minor Asia and to North Africa, where Aeneas managed to make the first Roman enemy. After seducing a Carthaginian princess and then abandoning her, she had cursed Aeneas and committed suicide afterwards. After leaving North Africa, they have sailed to the eastern shore of Italy, where they hoped to make a settlement. But upon arriving in Laurentum territory, the Trojans were greeted with armed civilians. But in order to avoid conflict, the king Latinus has given his daughter Lavinia's hand to marry Aeneas. But this marriage was unappreciated by Turnus, who was a Rutulian prince to whom Lavinia was already promised to. So Turnus, angry with this situation, led an attack against the newfound alliance, attack that he lost, but he still managed to kill Latinus, leaving Aeneas with the control of the Latin communities. Unhappy with the results, Turnus turned to the Etruscans to ask for help to attack this alliance. This was an attack that the Etruscans were more than willing to support. Once the enemy troops arrive, Aeneas, as his final act, lead the Latins to victory. and establishes the Tiber River as the official border between the Latin Trojans and the Etruscans. After Aeneas died, his son Ascanius has grown to be king, and with the rising population of the time, Laurentum was already too small. So Ascanius decided to lead a group east in order to make an establishment that would soon be called Alba Longa, the city that will be the seed to the most remarkable empire of the European history. After many generations, great the kingship of Alba Longa has passed from father to son until arrived upon the head of a man called Numitor, who had a brother called Amulius. Amulius wanted the throne for himself, so he decided to drive away from Alba Longa his brother, execute his sons, and then he sent his daughter to be a virgin vestal in order to ensure that she would not have any child of her own. But upon taking the vows, she have gotten pregnant by the god Mars. In other words, she has gotten raped, thus giving birth to 2 twin boys, and because of that, she was imprisoned. The brothers, however, were sent to be executed in the Tiber River. At the time of the arrival, the one entitled to do that task saw the river flooded, so he decided to, instead of drowning them in the middle, just left them floating upon the river. After the waters retreated, the babies just reached land, safe and sound. Here the legend states that a she-wolf, when quenching its thirst in the Tiber River, saw the babies and decided to breastfeed them. Here is when a man arrives, sees those 2 babies and decides to take them into his care. In another version of the story, people would say that this was nothing more than a fable, since the man's wife was basically a prostitute with the name of she-wolf or wolf in Latin. The couple then decided to raise these 2 boys as their own. They were now called Romulus and Remus. When the twins grew up, they were taking a liking into fighting against the local robbers, who were not so happy about losing all their riches. So, during a celebration, they decided to set a trap on the twin brothers, using the political tension between Amulius and Numitor to get them imprisoned in Alba Longa. Romulus did manage to escape, but now Remus was imprisoned by Amulius. So, if you watched the video up until this point, it means that you are quite interested in the subject. If you want to hear the rest of the story, make sure to subscribe to this channel and check the link down below for the full playlist of the Roman history. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next week.